Welcome to the channel, guys. It is your pixelated homie. We are back with some Aether Gazer. I really don't like doing tier lists, but I can find the value out of watching a tier list, and that's the information, you feel me? So today's video, we're just gonna take a look at every standard banner 5-star character to see what roles they all play and get a better idea of what this game has to offer. So sit back, grab a snack. I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible, but I do want to get some good information out there. So with all that said, let's get into the video. Alright, so first up we got our girl Poseidon. Poseidon, I think, is sometimes very slept on because she's not doing big numbers or anything. She can do some decent damage, and she can also play as a support as well. As a matter of fact, she has the second best crowd control capabilities in the game. She can actually freeze lock groups of mobs, so if you have her plus a DPS, then your DPS is going to have a much easier time taking care of any enemies that happens to be unfortunate enough to get caught in her AoEs. That's her main role in my opinion, is to freeze lock mobs, freeze lock bosses, and allow your DPS to get some damage off safely and efficiently. She also has major supportive capabilities for any ice units you may have. Granted, there are not that many ice units in the game right now. Even up to the anniversary of CN, there is only one 5-star ice DPS unit, and she really wants Poseidon to support her. So even though there's not many ice units in the game, ice, in my opinion, is one of the most useful elements in the game because there's not many bosses who are immune to ice. There are some bosses who are immune to stuns, but freeze is another story. So ice is actually pretty powerful, and I honestly feel that Poseidon is one of the stronger units you can have at the launch of Aether Gazer. Asura is such an amazing character. She's so fun to play. She hands down has the best crowd control in the game because she has two skills that has crowd control built within them. Her skill 3 pulls enemies closer together, and then her skill 2 will freeze enemies in their place. It's very satisfying to pull off, and it's very effective for clearing mobs. Her CC alone, in my opinion, is enough to make her a valuable member of the roster, but the community can agree that if you want to do decent damage with her, then you're going to want to have her signature key. Asura's signature key adds some much needed damage and extra mechanics that allows her to function more fluidly with her attacks. The other thing about Asura is she's actually a ranged character. She throws punches, but she has medium range with her attacks, so she can stay away from a rather safe distance and attack the enemy while crowd controlling them and doing damage. So my honest opinion, Asura is an amazing character. She's good for mobs, she's good for bosses, she's all around a great character, so don't hesitate to build her if you happen to pull Asura. Alright, so we're on to our first husbando. So with Tyr, I'm going to give you the facts first and then I'll tell you my opinion. Tyr is a burst damage support type character. What Tyr does is increase the team's ultimate damage, which depending on the team could be pretty decent. He also has pretty respectable burst damage within his skills. It takes time to build his burst up, and you have to play him in a certain way in order to get the most out of his burst damage. But he is capable of doing decent damage if you invest in him. The problem with Tyr is, like I said, it takes so much time for him to build his burst up. His skills are kind of cool, but I feel like they missed the mark. Like, I thought that his skills would have more freedom, you know what I'm saying? But it just ends up feeling too clunky. That's just my personal opinion. So my advice, if you like the character, pull for him. He's a cool character, just not my type of character. As for his signature key, I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't recommend it. If you want him to do more damage, it'll definitely make him do more damage, but I personally cannot recommend his key. It's one of the worst signature keys in the game, so I don't want to disappoint anyone, but I gotta let y'all know what's up. He does get a buff. Tyr just got a buff on anniversary, so there is that to look forward to. So like I said, if you like the character, pull for him, but out of all the standard banner characters, he's probably the worst one. The good thing about Aether Gazer though, is that you can really use whoever you want. This is more of a casual game, and I honestly feel any character can put in work. Next character up, we got our boy Kagutsuchi. I hope I said that right. I'm gonna just call him Kagu though. Now I know some people may say that Kagu isn't that good, but personally I feel like he's just decent, but there's some cool things about him. For one, Kagu has super armor on his attacks. Anytime you have super armor on a melee damage dealer, it's automatically a good thing. You don't have to worry about getting hit out of an attack or dodging. As long as you have a healer in the party that can keep you healthy, then you'll be able to just face tank a lot of stuff. I wouldn't recommend face tanking all the time, but you know, if you're in the middle of a combo, then you can definitely take a couple hits, brush it off like it was nothing, and keep it moving. The other good thing about Kagutsuchi is that he has an ultimate skill chain with Nuada, which is actually one of the better 4-stars in the game. And the effects of the skill chain is very potent for any fire type characters on the team. It's actually one of the highest buffs you can get. As for his signature key, Kagutsuchi is definitely a character that I would say kind of needs his key if you want to use him as a DPS. It gives him more damage and also helps with his combat resource generation. It works better if he's fighting large groups, but it still gives him a much needed boost regardless. So if you plan to use Kagutsuchi as a main DPS, then I would definitely go for his key. Kagu does have some problems though. You can't animation cancel out of his follow-up attack. So sometimes when you really need to get out of the way of an attack, you might just get stuck in an animation, which really feels clunky to be honest. So just keep that in mind. You might not like his gameplay, but I definitely feel in the early stages of the game, he'll be decent. Not amazing at all, but respectable. Alright, we are almost done guys. Now we're on to Okuninushi. I think Oku was very slept on in the beginning, but we soon found out how good she was once everyone was reaching endgame. But I think people didn't like how random she could be, and the fact that she was a healer made her unappealing because a lot of people just ran the pigment mirror, so they didn't need a healer, you feel me? I kind of had to use her because I did not want to use the pigment mirror. So Oku was actually one of my more useful characters. I could literally take her in any type of content with any type of team and she would do work. So what Oku does is she's kind of a jack of all trades type character. She can heal, she can give an attack buff, and she also has cooldown reduction abilities. A lot of characters skill 3 is their strongest skill, and Oku has the ability to either reduce the cooldown of the team's skill 3 or to completely reset it. It depends on if you use her ultimate skill chain or not. This is very powerful, especially if you have a character like Tsukuyomi that relies on her skill 3 to do high burst damage. You can really save yourself some time in case you mess up, because Tsukuyomi will enter a very long cooldown if you mess up her rotation. I also use her with Thor sometimes, because Thor's skill 3 is absolutely ridiculous. So sometimes if I play it right, I can line up 2 skill 3s back to back, which is actually pretty crazy. So Oku is going to be relevant for a very long time. She's one of the few S ranks with 3 ultimate skill chains, so her teams are very flexible. Honestly, her plus Heimdall can literally support anybody in the game. That's how good Oku is. Definitely don't sleep on her because her signature key is good as well. It has damage, range, and also some good crowd control. I would recommend her signature key, but worry about your DPS first. Alright, we're on the last one, guys. We say the best for last. No, I'm playing, but last character is Kotachi. So this one might hurt me a little bit, but we gotta keep it honest over here. Kotachi is definitely not the best character in the game, but she is the most flexible character in the game. So Kotachi is a special character because she's one of the only units that can use multiple elements. Her ultimate allows her to shred the resistance of any element she can use, and her ultimate skill chain is very flexible because it allows her to shred the resistance of all those elements at the same time. Kotachi is also a grindable unit, so you can get her for free no matter what. This is the reason I'm such a Kotachi fan, because she's the most accessible unit in the game. She can fit on multiple teams, and she's very potent in her main team. There's literally so many ways that you can play Kotachi that I really can't say how people say she's bad. She's not a bad unit. She just might not do the damage that you wish she could. I'll say it straight up, she's not a damage dealer, guys. She can carry you in the early game, but her damage is going to fall off once you get to endgame. But again, she is not a damage dealer. She can use multiple elements. She has a pure defense shred. She has elemental resistance shred. She has a stun. She has iframes. She can be used as a filler teammate for multiple teams. Like honestly, Kotachi is ridiculous. Her only problem is her damage falls off. But let's be honest, if she was a damage dealer that could use multiple elements and shred the resistance of those elements on the fly in battle, she will be a complete monster. They had to give her mediocre damage because otherwise she would have been busted. But yeah, I love Kotachi. If you know the enemy's attacks, you can style out with her, take advantage of her iframes. Depending on the situation, you can switch up what elements you need to be using. She's very fun to play for me, but she was literally my first 5-star in the game, so I could be biased right now, you feel me? I know some people don't like her gameplay, but I find it fun personally, so best I can say, if you like the character, build her. She's literally free, so especially for the free to play out there, she's going to be a very valuable character. If you really want to get the most out of Kotachi, I would go for her key, but that's only if you want her to do more damage. Her signature key doesn't add any extra effects for real besides more damage, to be honest, so she can still serve her purpose just as effectively with or without her key. Okay, that is the end of the video. If you found this video useful, guys, please leave a like, hit that subscribe. I will be doing character breakdowns and giving more detailed information about every character coming to Aether Gazer. As long as I'm enjoying it, I like to keep my content fresh and as genuine as possible, so as long as Yangshi doesn't mess up global release, I will be pushing content out for this game. I've been playing this game pretty much non-stop on CN server for a whole year, so we really have a lot to talk about. Anyways, as always, I hope y'all have a good day. It's the Pixelated Homie, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.